Hello, Mechwarriors, and welcome to the Mechbay, where we fix your mech and fix your game. What's going on, Mechwarriors? I'm your host, Josh. I've got my co-host, Steve, the only man to unjam a rotary autocannon with a broom handle in the midst of combat with me today.
Hello.
And we are the Mechbay Podcast, your number one source for all things casual to competitive tabletop battletech. And today, we're just going to talk for a bit and see where it goes. Right, Steve?
We have a lot of news to cover. A lot of things have happened recently, and I think it's important that you, the listener, be up to date and have the latest word on the street.
Yeah. First off, what do you have? Wait, are you really eating right now, Steve?
I have an ice cream bar. It's one of those. It's a knockoff Costco brand Haagen-Dazs bar. They're very good.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and I wish every person who's listening just like envies you for the ability to eat ice cream and podcast at the same time. Because I feel like in some BattleTech mercenary companies, they would take you out back and retire.
Only if I don't have enough to share.
No, you won this in honorable clan combat.
Then I do have enough to share because I bought them at Costco.
That's true. They
come in huge boxes.
I wish I had an ice cream right now. Anyways, BattleTech news.
Yeah. Big thing that we have is we got an update from Fortress Miniatures and Games on Southern Assault. So we have an actual date and a location, and we kind of have a rough game plan for what's going on.
Steve, why is this going to be the biggest and bestest Southern Assault to date?
Well, traditionally, Southern Assault has been 6 games over 2 days, but now it's going to be 4 days, and 4 is more than 2, and more is always better. Therefore, it's going to be the biggest and the best Southern Assault that we've ever had. Now it spans.
I was going to say, my brain says that once you hit 4 days, you're actually like a convention. Is that kind of true?
I think that's probably fair. Given some of the things that Bobby has planned for us, it is very much approaching a convention level. Not only do we have, well, let's back up. What are the dates? We're looking at going from November 7th to November 11th. So this is 4 days. I mean, that's wild.
My grizzled mech hands can count to 4. Yes, that is 7 to 11.
Right? You've got a spare. You can lose that pinky and still count. It's taking place at the Village Inn Hotel and Event Center in Clemens, North Carolina, which is going to be nice because one of the nice things about having a convention like that at a hotel is if you get a room in that hotel, you don't have to travel between games. You can just go down from your room and play games and then go right back up to your room if you want. So no trying to figure out shuttles or travel or anything else, right? Which is kind of nice. But normally, right, Southern Assault is 6 games of Alpha Strike. That is going to be scheduled for the 8th and the 9th. But Bobby is adding a classic tournament for the 10th. He's also talked about adding grinders and maybe a narrative game, Solaris matches, Gridiron Titans. Should play that advertisement again. That Gridiron Titans ad is great. But doing like painting sessions and all sorts of stuff. And I know he's got even more in the works that we don't have details on, which is, I mean, we're looking at a full convention. I mean, you've got everything. You've got all of it. This is what I would expect to see from like an Adepticon, right?
I mean, if I had to choose Adepticon or this, I think I would choose this.
I think this is because it's solely dedicated to BattleTech, right?
Exactly.
Adepticon has so many other games and everything else that you feel like you can't see it all in one trip. I mean, I just got stuck into the grinder table at Adepticon. I really didn't see much else at the convention.
Steve downloaded that grinder app and he was just there all day, 12 hours.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And that being said, I suspect that prices have to go up, right? I mean, you're getting more time, you're getting more events, you're getting access to this stuff. I have to assume that initial entry is probably going to be pretty steep.
He said that he's looking at an initial cost of $80 to $90 right now.
For
for
4
a
days,
4-day
that's
pass.
not bad. That's not bad.
No, considering Warzone Atlanta was more than that for 2 days. So this is still a bargain, and what you get is great. So it just keeps on the upsell. Like, man, okay, quit, make it worse. No, go back down. Stop.
No, it's almost too good to be true. And when you top that off with all the people that you get to meet and make friends with over time, I mean,
and you can stay in the hotel and hang out with them and go back later and play more stuff on the grinder.
Most of you are okay.
Mostly. You know who you are.
That's a joke. No, that's a genuine joke. I mean, I've met some very nice people at these things, and I communicate with them regularly. So it's
one of you, me.
Well, yeah. Well, honestly, I mean, we've told this story. I started listening to the podcast and then went down to Southern Assault 2 and then bumped into you guys and had a great time. And the rest is that. I mean, that really is, met a lot of people on the Discord there, and we still talk today. So that's pretty big news. I think that's huge news.
It's huge.
And I'm very excited. I know we're many months away already, but I'm starting to look at the calendar and trying to make sure work conflicts don't come up. And
we're not at today's the day, but I'm at I've still got time portion.
Josh, you're at the I've still got time portion until like 5 minutes before you have to get on the plane or the bus, wherever you go somewhere.
Look, we won't say that I still haven't turned in a list for an event that's due this week, but I'm not gonna post I still got time. It's like we had time yesterday and we're on borrowed time.
You still haven't submitted your list?
You know what? We're going to move on. We got a Catalyst email this week. First off, we're going to start on the positive news. They have sale items. So if you want a Battletech 40th anniversary t-shirt, hoodie, or mug, if you want to wear clothes, or if you just want more plastic, they've got the beginner box and the Game of Armored Combat on sale. So great time to get these either as a gift or just pick up more plastic.
And these are on the Catalyst website where you can purchase these for sale.
Yeah. These are them getting rid of this version of the stock. So, because I mean, let's get real. By next time, it'll be 41st anniversary t-shirt, and you can't have 40th clogging up the supply line.
I'm excited. I could probably use more mechs from the Game of Armored Combat. I mean, we don't need them. I could probably use them. Yeah.
We'll get to the games played, but I am actually trading some of my mercenary Kickstarter mechs for a Game of Armored Combat mechs. And it's like, economically, it'd be so much better to just buy the old box set, but no, I just need some.
There was a second half of that Catalyst email, Josh.
Yeah, we're ready for it. Rip that Band-Aid.
I'll be sure.
It's tariffs, folks, and we don't like to talk about them because they suck, but Catalyst says, quote, in the next 60 days, we'll be releasing a comprehensive update for this process, including some unfortunately necessary price adjustments. These adjustments will apply to new products and product reprints that are directly affected by tariffs. And as we adjust to this new situation, we will likely expand this policy across our entire product line in order to average out increases. We are working hard to ensure that we can keep or even improve our value contribution to you and your game tables. Yeah.
Bummer, but honest to God, I don't blame them.
Yeah. I mean,
with everything going on right now, you know, I mean, a lot of the manufacturing's overseas and it's coming into the States, and they have to adjust accordingly, right? Because they can't go losing money on, you know, their sales. It sucks, but unfortunately, reality of life as things are presently.
Now, this is when I do like the 3 points. It's like, who are we benefiting for these tariffs? No one. These suck. And it really does suck. Like, there's no positive.
From what I understand, the company that they use for their plastic miniature production is also one of the leading companies in the world for that type of miniature production. Mm-hmm. And they do a really nice job. I can't really complain with any of the plastic miniatures I've gotten so far. So hopefully we'll just grit our teeth and bear for the meantime, you know?
Yeah. So we'll keep on this as we hear more. I'm glad that Catalyst decided to let us know in the next 60 days. They will release their guide of which items will be increasing in price. This is not my first price increase for a miniatures line that I've had in my life, so I'm not new to that. It's more just like, this sucks because I know they didn't choose this due to everything else. It's like,
it's not your standard corporate greed. It's a necessity, right?
This isn't
and
inflation
what that also means,
or corporate greed. This is politics.
What that also means, folks, is that you've got a 60-day head start. Go out and buy that stuff now before it goes up, right? Yeah. So take advantage of those sales we just talked about and buy those extra games of Armored Combat at whatever discount they have. And you too can have extra plastic sitting around because things may get tight for a minute.
Thanks for swinging that back on the positive, Steve.
Yeah.
All right, let's get my head out of the angry space onto hobby progress. Woo!
Yeah.
Steve, why don't you lead off while I decompress?
Oh, man. Okay, so lots of different things going on. I have been working with Nate and some other folks over at the Bungle Tech podcast on a global campaign initiative, and it's a pretty expansive project in scope. I hope that we can do it, but basically it is effectively a campaign that will be released in monthly installments that people can play in with a little narrative story. And I am in charge of the Alpha Strike portion that I'm helping with, but they've got guys from the Mercenary Star podcast too, and some other folks that are helping out. It's a ton of work, but it actually looks really cool. I'm excited to play it. They just released the player pack. So you can either do Alpha Strike or Classic, and basically you're going to use the Mercenaries Kickstarter Hinterlands rules to kind of make a force and play through this story that's being crafted. And every month they're going to take responses from players that will affect the overall story. So kind of a live service campaign, if you will. I think it's worth checking out. I think it's pretty cool. And that's been a lot of fun, but time differences suck because there are times we have meetings and I'm much earlier than everybody else. So they're meeting at times that I would normally be asleep. So I'm playing a lot of catch up and pulling some late nights, but it's been fun. And I'm actually kind of excited for it.
Sounds like fun on the bun.
Yeah. As for actual hobbying, I am almost done with my Brawl in the Bluegrass paint scheme, or the mechs I need to paint for Brawl in the Bluegrass, which is great. And I've also got a couple other Falcons that were sitting on my desk that are making progress as well.
You got 96 hours.
Oh my, yeah, I got to drive.
I was like, I have 72 hours. You have a whole extra day.
I got to pack and drive. I mean, it's like all I have left. Thankfully, all I have left right now is the dry brush on the basing and the cockpits. And then I got to do decals. Everything else is done. So I should be, if I get 2 good nights of actual work, I should have them all finished. Then it's just packing up and getting ready to go. And making sure that work doesn't explode on my way out the door. But other than that, I should be fine. I have not painted this much in this short period of time in a long time. So it's been a little bit hectic, but it's nice to get the brushes moving again.
I mean, welcome to when you have responsibilities, there's only so much you can, force yourself to do. But, so Steve, 96 hours. Can I give you a...
Yeah, I've got time.
Yeah, I've got time. It's great. I got plenty of time. No, I'm actually starting to panic because cockpits take me a long time because I want them to look semi-decent and I botch them every time.
Some say they are the eyes into the eyes of your pilots.
Mine just have weird gusts.
Windows into the eyes of your pilot. There you go. The cockpit is the window into the eye of your pilot. I'll get this right one day.
No, my cockpits just have strange Gauss rifle holes in them. So,
hey, I mean, that Nova Cat, it got crunched down. There is no cockpit glass anymore. It's just,
Yeah. What else happened hobby-wise? What else? I bought more plastic because I have a problem.
Stop it.
Keep buying plastic. No, I'm going to.
And I swear, if you tell me it's the random gambling gotcha box thingies, what are they called? Blind boxes?
No. I actually selected specific mechs. I am going to start another project. I have another project that I want to work on, but I'm not going to disclose any details about it this time. So if I change my mind later, I can...
Secret project.
Look, secret projects are fun. And people will be, I think, surprised. Maybe not too surprised, but surprised nonetheless. So I need to get a couple of mechs, and then I will go from there. But I got a couple, and they're on the way. USPS has betrayed me. They were supposed to be delivered 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and I'm not going to get them until tomorrow. So I'm upset and betrayed. I did buy a blind box, though. I couldn't help it. And you know what I got in it? I got one of like the 1,000 or something that's still floating out there. I got a random blind box. It has a single vehicle.
Of course you do.
Vehicle. I know. And the thing is, it's a Maxim.
Oh, so it's a rare vehicle.
I know. So it's like I could take it back to the store and turn it in for credit and get a new vehicle blind box or a new mech blind box or whatever. I'm like, but I kind of want the Maxim. It's like I have a lot of the mechs and I can probably get the mechs, but the way to get the Maxim is to buy the big expensive Mercenaries box, and I don't want to do that. I think I'm just going to keep the Maxim. So that's been my fun adventure in hobbying. There is bad news, and I suspect it's mostly karma.
What is bad news?
If you don't follow us on the Discord and you don't communicate with us there, you probably should. There are always lively discussions, and we have a really good time. There's the hot discussion of Citadel paint pots versus squeezy dropper bottles. And this comes up every once in a while. It's like a bad penny. It shows up over and over again. And I had made the comment that if you're careful, paint pots are not a problem. In the last week, I have knocked over like 4 paint pots, and I have wasted so much paint and wash that I'm furious. And I suspect this is just the universe's cruel joke. Because I said, like, I've been painting with this for years and I've never knocked over a pot. Well, I did. And came back to bite me in the rear. So that happened.
The tinfoil hobbyist, like tinfoil hat hobbyist in me says Catalyst went taller for paint pots than wider because it's the only way they can get people to buy new paint. But
Citadel, you mean?
Yeah. What did I say?
You said Catalyst.
Oh, no. Look, I'm waiting for Catalyst to make the paint pots.
Look, if they want to make paint, I'll buy it.
I mean, right now they're partnered with Army Painter to have like those, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with.
Yeah, they're good.
I'm
they're
slowly
good
transitioning. The problem is you buy several $100s worth of. I had to stop Games Workshop because it's CGL and GW, and that's too many acronyms for me already.
The thing is, I grew up painting with Citadel, and I continue to use Citadel because it does what I want. I know how it works, and I don't have to guess. Yeah. It is expensive, but it's what I'm comfortable with, so I keep using it, and that's
Army Painter, great. Duncan Rhodes, Tune Thin Coats, great. It's like
Pro Kill's good. I mean,
slowly transition out. Like I just lost the paint pot today because it wouldn't close right. I'm like, this is what happened. So yes,
I know, but I'm nothing if not stubborn, and I'll get there eventually. But it happened to me. This is my story. So
I'm sorry.
What about you? I've been very busy beaver hobby wise, but
that's okay. Hobby progress wise for me, I have not bought anything since Warzone Atlanta, which has been good for me because I've been waiting patiently. But I did, ironically, we forgot this in the news. The Davion Heavy Cavalry box or Heavy Assault box is out.
Well, the reason you didn't mention it is because you've had one since Southern Assault.
Yeah, I kind of forgot all that. So, but I had not painted it until it was released to everyone, which is dumb because I'm just lazy.
You had the opportunity to have them painted before everyone else.
Wasted. It's one of the cheaper boxes, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think on Fortress it's out for like $20-some.
That's not bad.
No. Here we're gonna slowly wait. We're gonna look. Date new? Not yet. But yeah, it'll be like $22 on Fortress.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's much more reasonable than some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think what else. But yeah, so I finally have started putting paint on those. I was able to put paint on my Fireball, my Thunderbolt in AIS, the Templar, and an Enforcer, and then I finally did up my two Davion battle armors, the Hauberks and the Grenadiers.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to take them to Bluegrass yet, or if not. But I'm just painting them. I know I want them.
Have a list done. You have to pick what is going sooner rather than later.
One day. Maybe not today. Hold up. Should I hit the I've got time again?
Yeah, if I got one, you certainly get one.
Yeah, I've got time.
I do have time. I don't have time, folks.
Not much.
But yeah, so doing those, like I said, keeping it simple. It's really just dry brushing, which is great. Like it's That's good green base coat, a little bit of highlighting on top, and then the rest is just dry brushing. And then, of course, freehanding because, well, I'm a masochist when it comes to that. But we all can't be perfect.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm excited to see them when they're all done. I always like looking at your stuff, and maybe we'll put them up on the Instagram when they're finished.
Yes, that's really all I got painted. Not even the entirety of the Davion assault box, but the little bit that I want to play with right now. But that's it for my hobby progress. I'll get more done in the next coming weeks, hopefully. I'm hoping so. I'm going to say that.
You have 72 hours.
I've got time. Yeah, I've got time. But do I have time to talk about games played?
Always.
Yeah. Why don't you go, Steve?
Oh, sure. Well, everyone's favorite Krusty Krab mercenary company.
Whoa. Then it's not games played. It's Hiring Hall.
Oh, well, then I have no games played.
Same for me. It's only Hiring Hall now.
Okay. Tales from the Hiring Hall.
We'll get a little soundbite for that. Yeah.
We gotta make a soundbite.
If we've got a soundbite for, I've got time, take him to Detroit and she needs premium, then
we'll have to get one. I'll put one together in post.
There you go. So what did the Krusty Krabs get up to this time?
Well, the Krusty Krabs ended up taking a contract on Kahar, and they were minding their own business.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, we were minding our own business, hanging out, chilling, relaxing, all cool, shooting some
b-ball. I was
b-ball
doing nothing
outside of the school, when all of a sudden, a couple of guys, the Chum Bucketeers specifically, decided to land and ruin my day. We played the objective raid mission, and I was defense, so I really was doing nothing. And they just rolled up trying to eat my lunch. They were going to steal my ammo and blow up my buildings. So
no, not your buildings.
Look, my buildings are precious. They brought an Ostel 8E, the Wolfhound 6S for BSPs. They brought a Drillson and a Pegasus, which the idea was they were going to swoop it in and start shooting stuff and trying to identify those which caches had the actual supplies they were looking for. So if you're not familiar with the game mode, effectively, the attacker rolls up and attempts to identify. There are 2 of 6 objectives that have supplies there. Then once they locate the supply cache, they can then take certain numbers of supplies out of that cache, and they get points for each piece of loot that they get off the field. So Martin's plan was get the Drillson and the Pegasus over there, find the stuff, and then use the Ostel and the Wolfhound to either grab it and run or load those onto the vehicles and then have those scoot off. Thankfully, we had the brave and valiant Black Knight 6B and a Crab 27B ready to rock and roll. I also took a Drillson, and then I took a heavy emplacement. And you'll find out that this was a mistake very shortly.
The Drillson or the heavy emplacement?
The heavy emplacement.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, this was a brutal fight. And I mean, just no one was happy at the end of this game. Not because anyone played badly, not because anyone's dice did bad things. It's just circumstances occurred that no one would have liked to have seen. Without getting too into the weeds as to the play-by-play, long story short, the Krusty Krabs were unable to gather any of the supplies. I blew up the Drillson. I blew up the Pegasus. And back-to-back turns, that Wolfhound got cored out entirely. I mean, and that was like a true center torso core out, so it's not even salvageable. In response, my Crab 27 got cored out entirely, center torso.
No.
So I lost one of the two founding crabs for the Krusty Krabs. The pilot was fine, but the mech was toast, which is a real bummer. And because you can't really find crabs anymore because they're so old, the availability is not great. And it means I will not be able to replace it. So unfortunately, the Krusty Krabs have lost a crab. In my rage, the Black Knight absolutely destroyed, again, the center torso of that Ostal 8E, being a true destruction under the mercenary rules. So I killed him to a man, destroyed his BSPs, and double cored out both his Wolfhound and his Ostal. Which was just unfortunate, right? I mean, I would have much rather preferred put him into force withdrawal, let him leave, and just take my winnings, and the Krusty Krabs could go about, their rampage as they saw fit. Because it's not fun. It's not fun to take away other people's toys, right? It's not fun to permanently destroy their mechs and put them in a bind. I don't want to do that, but that's how the game played out. I mentioned the heavy emplacement being a mistake.
Yeah.
It was because I should have taken a medium emplacement. I got to place all of my objectives, right?
Yeah.
And I put them within range of the turret, but it didn't occur to me that the heavy emplacement's range is like 369.
It's
real tight.
20. Yeah.
Yeah, it's real tight. And if I'd done the medium, it would have been much more effective. It still got one or two hits, which was great, but I missed by one on a lot because of the range brackets. So in future, I need to remember medium turrets are my friends, but the heavy did dissuade him a little bit from checking out those objectives, which was, ultimately helpful, but it didn't get any big hits that I was hoping for. But 3 out of 4 mechs were left in ruins on the field, not salvageable at all. And I was bummed I lost a crab. He was bummed because he lost, a third of his stable, the Ostal and the Wolfhound, and he had just salvaged that Wolfhound on the previous mission. So I just took his toy and broke it.
I mean, your pilot's still alive, thankfully.
Well, yeah, except I had 2 of his pilots. I own the field and I blew up his mechs. So I had 2 of his pilots, and in true Eugene Krabs fashion, hello, I like money. So I ransomed back both of his pilots to his company, and it also allows the rivalry of the Chum Bucketeers and the Krusty Krabs to continue, because otherwise I would have killed Woodrow Plankton, right? And without, if I'd killed Woodrow Ton, and his son Chip, right? It's like, what are you going to do? You can't kill the leader of the Emmy Mercenary Company. It's not fun. It's not fun to do that. So I let him loose, but I got some SP for it, and the game is still afoot. So
all I can imagine is that crab that went down. I'm gonna say swinging with the Marshawn Lynch. I know I'm gonna get got, but I'm gonna get mine more than I get got though.
Dude, the crab put out some heavy work. It being 5'8", it's fast enough to get places, and 2 large lasers in a rear arc is dangerous. You can't sleep on those. But it was. At the end of the day, the game was exciting because I won, but it didn't feel great because everybody lost stuff permanently.
Yeah.
And I know Martin had great salvage stuff, and he had pretty decent insurance for the mechs. So I had 100% insurance for my mech as well. So as long as it had not been center torso destroyed, I would have gotten it off the map. And he took out the right torso, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get him off the field next turn. And then one random SRM came by and just blopped him, and it hit the right torso that wasn't there and floated into the center torso, which put it under. So
yep, that'll do it.
That's how it works. But we'll get the full report from Chip.
There you go.
How about your game?
Well, in co-host, same fashion. Oh, wait, you've gone from ice cream to stroopwafel?
No.
No, he says.
With a mouthful of stroopwafel.
The natural disasters, they get a contract rating on Kahar, which is great. My first opposition contract will be played by Scott from scotsgameroom.com. Always lovely. So we decide that we are going to play, because this one is a 6 mission. You have to play 6 missions regardless of the time.
It's a real long contract.
It's a real long contract. So I'm like, cool, let's just do it mission 1 to mission 6. It tells you can do that or you can roll, but you always have to do all 6. I was like, it's going to be way easier for me to keep track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So mission 1, we're just recon. So I just got to scan, which is great. I roll up. I've got my cadet. This will be his 3rd game. So he gets his name after this. I'm feeling great. The next one, my next mech on the field will be my Centurion. Same rocking the Rack 5. Everyone loves Iris Hammerbright in the Centurion Omni.
But you keep bringing the Centurion, but it never does what you want it to do. Why do you keep bringing the Centurion?
Because it is a foundation.
Is that the disaster part of the natural disasters or what?
Okay, we'll get to it in this game. We'll get to why I take it.
Okay,
so,
all right.
Scott, ironically, he's not taking his mercenary company, but he is doing that optional thing where someone can play just Op 4 and they get like 25% of the earned points that they get and send it back to like their home mercenary company. So he's like, I don't want to play with my actual guys. You've played those enough times. I'm going to play his random Op 4, still meet scale 1, still do all that, but I don't have to like keep track of names and pilot and things. Like I'm just playing, and if they die, they die. So I was like, this is great. This is mixing it up. I need to do this more.
Yeah, the Op 4 rules are great for people. Like if your company's on the ropes a little bit, play Op 4 and send some money back to get your guys back on your feet. It's a great option.
It's called a subcontractor, folks. But yeah, so Scott is taking a Centurion Omni-Mech. Oh, I thought you were going to be like, oh, right, isn't that the same thing you've got?
I mean, I gave you a look, but I didn't want to interrupt. So
no,
yeah,
please.
No, that's it. It's like a mirror match, right?
Yeah. Except he is taking the heavy PPC and target computer, and I want to say like a medium laser or 2 on that. So I am cluster table. He is big damage.
I'll tell you which one I like better.
Why you gotta hurt me? His other mech is the Recognition Guide Trebuchet with Clan LRM 15s, I believe. Yeah,
the trebuchets are nice. I like them. They're a nice medium, and I don't know. They're kind of funky because they suffer from like sometimes they got LRMs and sometimes they got SRMs and sometimes they got both, and they kind of like play that bracket game. But they're
now imagine it with Clan LRMs.
I mean, that'd be sick. I would
on
love
a
that.
Single map sheet. Ugh.
Yeah, love it.
So I'm raiding, he's defending, so I've got to go and scan him. For my BSPs, I choose, I want to say a strike and the warrior attack helicopter, because I'm like, ooh, something that can get around, scan, that's great. I don't need a lot of damage. I just need, get close to him. Love it.
Yeah.
He takes a bombing and a strike, and then we do our complications, and he rolls the complication. I will say, first off, we don't roll complications enough. For every game that I remember them, there's a game that I forget them, and that's, I don't want to say it's on me. I'm going to put it on the game. It's like, it's the biggest change to normal gameplay.
I think, honestly, God, I think if they were to put something in the mission, be like, hey, this is how you deploy, roll your complication table.
Yeah.
Then deploy, right? If they were to give you a visual reminder in the mission packet, it may help out. But yeah, I've done that before.
And some people, they don't, like, the complications aren't the same for everyone. Like, sometimes you roll and you'll get nothing. So it's like 50% of the time that it will come up, it doesn't come up anyways. And it's like,
a lot of it has to do with your
contract.
Your contract, right? I mean, because if you're house, you have to add like way more than if you're liaison than if you're independent, right? It matters.
So he rolls, because he is, I want to say, integrated or house, and he gets give 50% of your BSPs randomly to your opponent. So he holds up his cards and I get his heavy strike. And I was like, ooh, that's rough.
Yep.
So they do matter. They do change up the game. I don't know if they change it up in a happy way or not, but
the last time we had bad complications happen at one of my tables, I rolled give your opponent 2 galleon tanks, and then they rolled give your opponent 2 galleon tanks. So we just had more tanks on the field. It was an absolute disaster.
Oops, all galleons.
Oops.
But yeah, so I roll up my Inferno. We roll up in the city because Kahar is a city map one. I was like, oh boy. Inferno goes up the middle. Centurion goes up on its little sniper post for just the first turn. And my Centurion, I think I mentioned, has the SPA of like Inspiring Commander. So he can re-roll either something of his or something of anyone else's on his teams. And he did not miss that first turn, needing like 9s. He gets 3 rack hits, laser hits, LRMs hit. And I'm like, why do I pay for you to hit when you never don't hit?
Huh.
The Inferno misses everything. I was like, that's fine. He's a cadet. He's just there to be a meat shield and to get close to the heavy PPC Centurion. Because I don't want Centurion on Centurion violence. That's illegal. I know the way the fates will make that game go. So since it's Centurion versus Trebuchet, which is a worse matchup, but more effective. And the helicopter is just trying to flank. It'll keep going. 3 more turns. Centurion has not missed against Trebuchet, but now we're in point blank range. We give the punch and the kick. He takes my leg internal, and I also take him internal on, I want to say, gyro. And I was like, ooh. I mean, please don't kill me, but I was like, my leg is open, but I will take a gyroed and crippled Trebuchet. Unfortunately, though, the Inferno is not winning the match against the Centurion. It's like got 25 tons on. It also has a heavy PPC against the heavy PPC, but he's got a T comp and I do not. So every time I shoot, he's like 2 better than me, skill and computer. And it's like, that's a losing game. By the 5th turn, I finally get my scan in with there, and I'm like, cool, Inferno, come on back. We're done. The Inferno never made it off the field, Steve.
Uh-oh.
He was running. He got, I want to say, a through armor crit on the leg, and he hit the hip, and he went down, and he hit his head.
Oh, no.
Yep. And in that turn, Scott was able to get in, hit him again in the head with his targeting computer and everything, and he got another head hit. Like, so now he's rolled, he's rolled. Now he's unconscious and immobile. And I'm like, and Centurion's like wounded. Centurion already left the field because the objective is recon. It's scan the enemy mech, run off the field. And Centurion was wounded. And I was like, I don't really want to be crippled. The Inferno goes unconscious, and Scott just T-comps it, zaps that head off.
Did he just hit it, or did he aim for the head?
He aimed headshot.
Whoa, Scott, you monster!
Yeah.
Oh.
He was like, I'm taking this mech. I don't need the pilot.
God, what? Oh.
So yeah. So even the Op 4 can take it.
Brutal.
Yeah. The only silver lining for this is I did have battle support, so I did get refunded for the lost Inferno.
That's good.
But it's not a like good.
No, I'd rather have the mech, right? But
yeah,
it's like a consolation prize. Someone ate your lunch. Here's the wrapper. Like,
yeah,
no, thanks.
Yeah, Scott got a little brutal, but then again, I have played him like 2 or 3 games in this, and I think I've won all those. So
payback.
It was time.
Yeah, payback happens.
So no rolling out the MASH unit for that guy.
No, he's donezo.
Yeah, I did try to roll the skin of the teeth ejection. Nope. He ejected, hit that tree. He did.
That didn't sound like it went so hot. I mean, you got the scan, so like you won, but at what cost?
75-ton Omni-Mech, a pilot. I want to say that's roughly through 2,500 SP worth. which isn't worth the money you win.
Right. Well, I mean, that's Battletech, baby.
That's Battletech, baby. Thanks, James from Warzone Atlanta, for your That's Battletech button.
Yeah.
But I did get 2 more games in. I'm still in Kahar, or on Kahar. I'm in Kahar City on Kahar. But
did this one go better?
It did. I was playing Noah, and Noah's got a brand newish mercenary company. He was like, "Yeah, I'll just hop in. I'll play your Op 4." This is the breakthrough. So now that I've got the scans, I have to now go to where the scans are telling me to go. The good part about this contract is it does let me buy mechs at a discount. The defender gets to upgrade mechs, like do actual modifications for mechs. And I was like, that's a little cheesy. We're just going to buy mechs. So I roll up, I get a Night Sky, but because I'm trying to fill this out like as a natural Davion force, I'm like, what's the closest equivalent for it? And I'm just be like, it's a Hatchetman. I'm sorry. It's kind of the biggest one. So I got a Hatchetman. I think this is the 4 ER medium lasers, armored components, and a target computer. So it's a weird, like, tanky boy.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a Dark Age. Don't talk about it. But so I've got that, and I'm going to take that with my brand new cadet pilot.
Fresh off the block.
Yeah. Of course, with the Centurion, which never missed the last game. Noah is defending this city with his improved heavy laser Star Slayer. So he's got the like Clan Tech Star Slayer.
Yeah.
And because he's only got 1 mech, he's down some PSP. So he's got like 4 medium emplacements all around his line.
Like I talked about, man, the heavy emplacements are scary, but they don't have the reach. Medium emplacements are where it's at.
Oh, yeah.
They plink at you from forever away, and they hurt. It's enough to hurt.
Once we go to scale 2, it's like light emplacement, but scale 1, medium emplacement. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got to get across. This is fine. I take a Manticore, and I want to say a Bulldog. I just take 2 tanks. It's fine.
Not bad. The Manticores are good.
Yeah. He wins initiative for the first couple turns. I flank out. I think he gets 1 good turn where he backs his Star Slayer up, puts the 2 lasers, hits internal in the Hatchetman, and destroys both of the ER medium lasers in that side torso. There's only 3 things in there: the T-comp and 2 ER mediums. He kills both the ER mediums, so I'm 50% weaponed right then.
Yeah, but you saved the T-comp, so
that's the important part.
Right.
I will say I did use this opportunity to run the Centurion, across on the other half of the map. I'm like, you know what? We're not going to play with you very much, but it is a improved heavy laser Star Slayer, so I'm not going to. But I will say the next turn I did win initiative, so I was able to get the Hatchetman up and into like a hiding position so he could get off the field next turn. He was able to get off the field. He did kill a turret in the process, so I appreciate his sacrifice.
Good.
Yeah. I think this one I get my max score, like a max win, because the only win condition is I do internal damage to his force and he has to do internal damage to all of my force.
Got it. Okay.
So by him taking only 1 mech, he was at a disadvantage, but he did get in on the first shot that he did. So
yeah, that hurts.
It was. He only needed like 1 more turret hit on the Centurion. Like, don't feel bad for Noah.
It was close. All right, so he was like almost there.
He was almost there. The great part is, because these are quick games, we got a second one in right there. Now we're doing the objective raid.
Hey, I did that one.
Yeah. So Noah's defending. He's got a Guillotine and Phoenix defending this, and we are playing on the city map where it's like kind of a hill, like 1 building on a hill, and he puts both of his little supply depots right next to the building on like the level 3. And I was like, I
have a question.
Yes.
Was this in the same month? Could you repair?
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I could not, because I rolled up for this one. When I played Scott, we rolled 1. It was 1 month in 1 mission. This one was 1 month, 3 missions.
Oh.
Yeah. It's back to back to back.
All right. So what'd you bring?
I brought the Battle Axe, which was fresh, and the Centurion, which only had armored damage, so we were able to repair it quickly.
Okay.
The Hatchetman, I don't know if we want to put it in to the repair bay yet, so I'm waiting. But so I've only got 4 mechs right now in my stable. I've got the Battle Axe Centurion, the Hatchetman we just bought. I had the Inferno, lost that, and then I've got my Thunderbolt in AIS, which I salvaged on my last contract. So we ain't looking great.
You need more bodies.
I need more bodies. I have more mechs than bodies, which is a good place to be if you're trying to keep it cheap. But yeah, so this is objective raid, and I'm going to throw out the Battle Axe and the Centurion.
That was still wounded?
So you can repair armor in between, but you can't repair internal.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, that's the key. So Battle Axe comes on, instantly starts brawling with the guillotine. Centurion is going to escort some infantry in a Maxim to steal some supplies. They got 1 turn up before a bunch of medium emplacements just ripped them to shreds. Didn't even have a chance to deploy out of the hovercraft.
Brutal.
Yeah, the hovercraft did take down a turret, but still,
it's D-Day all over again.
It was
chopped up in the transport.
Battle Axe was throwing its weight. It never got internal on the guillotine, but it did force it to fail a PSR, which is almost good enough.
Guillotines are beefy, man.
Oh, yeah.
I like guillotines a lot.
And this is just intro tech, the intro tech guillotine, 2,500. 2,500 the year, not the BV. Real good. They made it good. They broke the mold. But his Phoenix Hawk is the jumpy pulse one, so he's jumping and pulsing at my Centurion, trying to get it dead before it can grab objectives. And this is when I remember, hey, Josh, you need hands to grab objectives. And guess what? The Battle Axe didn't get issued.
Hand actuators.
Hand actuators. So it's like, wait, Battle Axe can't do nothing on this map. Centurion tries grabbing some. I had to wait till I got initiative to grab one. He shoots at the Centurion. I fail my PSR. I fall. And this is where that do I grab it if I fall? And it's like, the rules don't say you don't. And I was like, that feels a little cheesy. And he's like, dude, you grabbed it. Don't worry. I was like, okay, you're going to say I grab it, but if I get another chance, I will try to grab it again.
Right. So that way you've legitimately grabbed
exactly.
it. There's no question. It's not like, oh, I won the mission because you gave it to me.
Right? He was like, I like the thought of you grabbing it as you went down. And I was like, I like that, but exactly. This is when I won initiative and it screwed me over because I wanted to move the Centurion now that it either had or did not have an objective out into a better spot. He jumps the guillotine around the building in front of me, which means because he lost, he has to move first. And I cannot move through enemy mechs.
Yep.
So he screwed my movement over. And I was like, oh no, I had this. I was doing okay. I've lost. I
love that. Use your mechs to impede other mechs' movement. Don't forget about that. It's a great tactic. Well done, Noah.
Yeah. He didn't even realize, but I know he deep down knew what he was doing. But yeah, Centurion tried running downhill, which meant no, you can't run downhill at a good speed. You're losing 2 for every time. So
yeah, that's why you got to have a jump. Even if it's something like jump 3, jump 4, you get down those hills a lot faster.
That's why I took the Battle Axe, because I was like, I'll need jump.
You didn't read the mission briefing before you deployed.
Classic issue. Might as well have been 3 objectives. So yeah, so Centurion makes it to right before he got off the board. He was 4 hexes away where he had to end. And I was like, I've got leg damage. I've got open. I'm not crippled yet, but any more damage will. And he does get a good hit from the guillotine onto my leg, destroying it. The Battle Axe right next to it. He shoots it. He blows off both arms and gives me a head hit, and I fall down. And he's like, you give me back those parts, I'll let you keep your mechs.
It's a fair trade.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I understand when I've been beat. I got.
Did you give it as good as you got before you got?
No. He was not internal on either of his mechs, which I was like, how? I was like, you got beefy whipped. Intro tech. That's how.
Dude, zombie mechs, man, they're dangerous.
Yeah, they just pay for armor, man.
That's it.
So, like I said, don't feel bad about Noah. He got me on the next one. So that was a full win and then a full lose for the second one. So,
all right. Yeah. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
The question becomes next month when I've got one mech left in the stable and the next mission. So it really depends on who I play next. Well, I need some repairs, man. I don't need pilot hits. I need repairs.
Have you considered playing Op4 in the meantime and sending 25% of the
I've thought back? We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was a fun. I very much enjoyed getting 2 games in one night and then another mercenary campaign. Those are supremely how I'm enjoying playing BattleTech right now.
I love the mercenaries games. They're quick, they're fun. The missions are all there. They're kind of randomized. You know, depending on what planet you go to, there are all sorts of like complicating factors, which is a lot of fun. I feel like we say this every episode, but the mercenary stuff is just excellent. And I think it's definitely changing the face of how people are playing BattleTech on a regular basis.
Well, I think that's it for games played / hiring haul. We got a little bit of fan mail. List review of the Castle Crashers. Where have I heard that name before?
I might have talked about it in the Discord.
Who's this letter from?
It's me. I did it.
The fan mail is coming from within the house.
Well, I put this list together, and I put it together for Classic, and I wanted to see what you thought about it and give us something to talk about for a quick minute. I built the list. It's a 10,000 BV list, and it's an Il-Clan era. And the bad news about the Castle Crashers is that there's no MUL that you can do to fit all these in the era, right? No one faction has all of these mechs. So this is more for vibes than anything else.
Gotcha.
Mostly because I just went and took mechs that were named after medieval siege equipment. So
okay, now it's making sense.
Yeah, that's it. They just break castles. So yeah, if you're up on your medieval siege equipment, you might recognize some of these things, right? So obviously you have the classics, right? You have the catapult, you have the trebuchet, right? These are standard siege engines that you may be aware of. The mangonel is also a siege engine, and so is the onager. So I put those together with the idea that it was just a vibes thing, right? Just a theme to put them together. So for this 10K list, we have an onager 2 at 4/4. Trebuchet 5S at 3/4, a Mangonel 3W at 3/4, and a Catapult K2K at 3/5. So I'm curious what you think about this. I tried to make them synergistic at least a little bit, but I want to see your take on these.
I mean, the Onager 2 is definitely the weird boy. First off, it's 2 clan large pulse and 2 SRM6s with some, little bit of hag and small pulse. So it's just a weird slow mech. It's a good anchor. It's at 4/4. I like that you've recognized that it's just there to shoot. It doesn't need to shoot the best. It's already innately getting minuses to hit. So the Trebuchet 5S. Ugh.
I mean, it's 3 medium lasers and 2 SRM6s on a 5.8. It's going to run at you and shoot you. It was the thought process, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have case, so that SRM ammo in the left and right torso were exposed. But it doesn't have an XL engine, so it, in theory, could lose a torso and not explode.
In theory.
I mean, looks good on paper, right?
Yeah. I mean, I like it. It's definitely the cheap. You don't need a lot. You just need fast little SRM boy.
That's it. I think it is the. I guess it's tied for. Oh, I thought it was tied for fastest, but I mean the Mangonel and the Catapult are also 5.8, so it's not too bad.
Catapult, a 5.8 Catapult.
Yeah, the Catapult K2K. It's 2 ER PPCs, 2 ER medium lasers. Walks 5, runs 8, has an XL engine, and 20 double heat sinks.
I mean, the Mangonel is definitely the superior. Mangonel beats Catapult because it's 2 Goths versus 2 ERPPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Onager 2 beats Trebuchet in SRM6s, but more damage. So it's a weird, like, this I feel like this list doesn't do anything together, but you've got Mangonel and Catapult, which do like 2 big long range shoot. And then Onager comes up and like really drills out the hole a little bit more, like countersinks. And then the Trebuchet is what really like moves last, really. You wouldn't expect that, but the Trebuchet moves last and puts the SRM6s in ER medium laser. Not even ER, just regular medium lasers.
Just medium lasers.
Just medium lasers. So yeah. I just hate catapults at 3/5s. Like, just commit. Just commit.
Oh, the problem is I ran out of points.
I know.
I ran out of points. I was going to make it a 3-4, but it.
Are there no battle armor? Are there no battle armor that are
named after siege engines? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not an index, but I could look for some. But no, I mean, the other thing is I put it at 3-5 because I figure if it's going to sit there with its ERPPCs, it might just be the turret in the back to give covering fire to everything else as they march up. You know?
Yeah. That's okay.
We had to take it somewhere, and I figured, the Onager at 4-4 was going to give me some points, and I thought it more important that the Trebuchet and the Mangonel not fall down, right?
Yeah.
If something's got to fall over, I think I'd prefer it be the Catapult.
I like it. I think it's a fun list. I think it's a good thematic list, and I don't think it's a bad list. Like I said, the Mangonel will do it at the double cost, even though I dislike the all eggs, 2 baskets kind of thing in a list building. It's thankfully not like a significant portion of the list. There are other things.
I mean, it's half.
Yeah. So, no, I think it'll be fun. Now we need a castle list. And I feel like that's the Black Knight, Templar, Crusader, Archer.
You gotta get the Archer in there. Yeah, right. Get all the castle defenders, right?
Mm-hmm. So you've made the nice first half of the list. Now you need this other half of the list.
I'll work on it. We'll see what we can put together for next time.
There you go. But no, I like it. It's fun. Yeah.
I'm gonna buy all these in metal when I go down to Ironwinds.
Oh boy. You'll have to pick me out a Mangonel or something. Some free worldy thing.
Dude, Mangonels are great. I painted one for Southern Assault. I love it. You can also put it in a sock and kill someone with it.
Yeah, we'll see if I do that. There's a reason why the Ironwind trip is before the events.
Everybody has flails.
So we got a little bit of fan mail real quick. All right, and for our last fan mail for this episode, we did get an email from Sam, my Game 5 Warzone Atlanta opponent, who went on to beat me and win Best General for that event. So Sam would like to correct me that I said it was in the episode, he had never made a list before. What he meant was he had never made a classic list for an in-person event before. He is a mainly Alpha Strike player, but he does play Mega Mech all the time. So he had no opinion on how difficult like playing Princess versus playing an inhuman person is. So he has played Mega Mech and Classic before, just not in-person event. So
it's good clarification.
That is good clarification,
right?
Yeah. Don't worry, Sam. We're not holding you and your Alpha Strike play group, too hard here. Sam would also like to correct/apologize that when he was talking about your clan weaponry, that he did not mean it was like bull crappy, like all that. And I was like, don't worry, Sam. Out of everyone I played, 5 out of 5 players said it's some clan bull crap. And yes, I understand ATMs are some clan bull crap. So don't worry. It's just
it's nice of him to apologize, right? Because I get it. I've said things playing games that I would like to take back. Things aren't going great or whatever. You get a couple bad rolls and you're like, wow, that's a bunch of malarkey is what we use. But it's that's not the word I use at the game table.
Local man fires 42 missiles sitting on his deployment line, destroys objective turn 1. Not a single person is going to be like, yeah, that's completely fair and balanced.
That was great. No, but
can you do it again? Yes, he can.
So no, it is. I mean, I get it, right? I've been upset at things that happen on the table. Nothing against my opponent, and I've said things that are not terribly kind. So Sam, I get where you're coming from, and it's nice to, it is nice to know that people can apologize for things when it's
apology not needed. Like I said, it was an event. It's game 5. Like, I still felt great, but it's game 5. Like, I'm mentally and emotionally done. So I'm glad you won. I'm glad you beat me. I'm glad you had the superior list for that mission that we fought. Because if it was the brawl one, you were going down. So,
because ATMs are
Sam, you enjoyed when I arm flipped that Nova Cat and destroyed your spider in one hit on tens. Imagine what I could have done in a stand-up fight. So no, you're great. You're fine. Keep winning, Sam. And keep on listening.
Yeah, thanks for writing in.
This is when I need the footnote. It's like, thoughts and comments for Mechbay podcast, Josh, do not reflect actual true embellished. There you go. It's the law and order. Maybe. Some things are based loosely on real life.
Right. Based on a true story.
Based on a true story.
Names and locations changed to protect the innocent.
There you go. All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into some of our main subject real quick, where we break down the new Davion Assault box set, because I'm painting it, the one that I've had since November, finally. So I get to talk about it on the podcast, finally, right? Because now all of you guys can buy it on the Catalyst Game Store, and soon Fortress Miniatures and Games.
Hi there, Bill Shift here with Mech's Tape, the Inner Sphere's strongest and most reliable hard gel-based mech repair tape. Did you take a PPC to the cockpit and need to seal in a jiffy? That's a lot of damage. Then you need Mech's Tape. Trusted by Mechwarriors everywhere, it has over 9,000 applications. Are you out of armor plating in the field and need a quick fix? Mech's Tape. Did your senior tech get blown up in the last orbital bombardment and need to do the repairs on your own? Mech's Tape. Your heatsink gets shot through and you're losing coolant fast? Mech's Tape. Straight from the Kerensky cluster, invented by the top of the scientist cast, our patented hard gel tape formula will have you back in the action in no time. Can be found everywhere the finest mechs are sold.
Not suitable for repairing fusion engine shielding, Gauss rifle coils, and has been known to influence the bedding habits of various megafauna.
All right, we are back. Now, we're going to differ. Now, we don't normally do a product review where we talk about things from like an in-universe perspective, but I did want to try, and I felt like this would be a good episode to do that from. So, here we are, unboxing, metaphorically, the Davion Assault box set. Now,
you can unbox it literally. I can't.
I mean, I already have. Normal people are probably unboxing it right now. They've got some actual great new models coming out on the Camo Specs website. But yeah, I'm looking at my production-proof box set that I earned in glorious clan-style combat. Does that make me, like, this is... It wouldn't be Isorla, would it? Or would that...
I mean, that's what the term means. It's
okay.
Claimed,
like my clan... It's why we have Mech Thursday or Battletech. What is it? Lord's Day, Thursday. Every Thursday on the Mechbay Discord, we talk about a new clan, cultural idea, because I'm bad at it. I don't know it. I don't respect it, and I need to learn
more every day.
Learn more every day. So if you're not on the Mechbay podcast Discord, you can find a link to that in the show notes for this episode. But yeah, so for the Davion box, I want to talk about the mechs a little bit from the in-universe perspective. And we're going to start with the Templar first, because it's definitely the poster boy of the box.
For some of you. Disagree.
Wow, coming out strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Templar is the first Federated Sons Omni-Mech. And that's definitely weird, because it definitely doesn't feel like it should be the first Federated Sons Omni-Mech.
It's a cool model. I don't know why.
It is. It's just like...
They got to have some Omni-Mech, so why not that one?
I mean, my thought is, like, do you start an Omni-Mech in the assault class range. I feel like that's pretty, like, that's not where I would go. I feel like you always start cheap little. Like, the other one would be the Raptor. Real cheap. It's a Locust on legs. It's essentially a dasher. It's just meant to scout recon and deliver troops. So, like, that's where the logical one would start, and not the upper range. That's where Lyrans would start.
Okay.
Now you're getting where I'm talking. But in universe, the Templar is an assault mech that was not originally meant to be an Omni mech. It was intended to take the place of other more venerable assault mechs, like the Awesome Invictor, but it was not meant to be an Omni mech. Quote, because it was too costly to design and manufacture in universe. Like, to build an Omni, you have to essentially design and, you know, retool everything, and all the R&D money goes into making an Omni mech. It's just harder to make them. So this is post-Clan Invasion. You still got FedCom, so Lyran and Davion working together.
Money. Yeah.
And of course, you've got Catherine on one side and Victor on the other, so you're already fighting over every C-bill in the pocketbook. I'm like, yeah, an Omni-Mech does not sound great when you've been paying really the Caretans and Free Worlds to make these the last, 10 years. Like, you already got the Blackhawk, you already got the Sunder, you've already got Owens, Raptors. It's like, yeah, why do we have Omnis? Or why do we need an Omni is literally the question.
Because everyone else has them, Josh.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. It's like, well, we need our own Omni that's cool and Davion flavored. So
it's cool mech.
Yeah, it's just, and then you look at the loadout. The first loadout is a Gauss rifle, large pulse laser, medium pulse laser, 2 ER medium lasers, a Streak SRM4, and then a targeting computer on an 85-tonner. Does that seem like an efficient 85-ton Omni loadout? For 3062.
I mean, I don't know. Kind of. Like, I like the Gauss. I like the large pulse.
Yeah, but like,
Streaks are cool.
They're throwing
Decom's
Gausses
nice
on everything nowadays.
We found a whole box of them in the back. Just stick them on there.
Pretty much.
No, I mean, like, the thing is, it is an assault. Like,
yeah. Like, that's my thought. It's like, you could just.
It's a light assault. It's an 85 assault.
It's a 4.6 assault.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not like a 100-tonner, right? I mean, like,
yeah.
It's a lighter assault.
It's definitely more comparable to the Victor in this.
Yeah.
This mech, I felt like, never really found its identity in the first one. That first variant, like I said, this is a poster boy for the targeting computer, which I think is brand new for that time. So they have this cool make pilot better. And they're like, what do we throw it on? We throw it on something that's not going to die instantly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We need an Omni mech for a targeting computer, or we need a mech for a targeting computer, and this is the one. And it became like, oh, we're going to private bankroll this to be an Omni mech because we need one. So it like I said, it definitely feels weird. The next variant is a UAC 10, a ERPPC, and some secondary weapons, but also with a T comp. So not bad. And then it's introduced with a third variant, which is 3 Rack 2s and an ERPPC. So they're definitely leaning into it's a T comp. Omni just means we can swap out the weapons. But that was my thought. This mech definitely felt like it wasn't designed to be an Omni. It could have just been 3 variants of a standard. It would have been okay. It's okay, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't run it.
Would you run it?
Depending on what it clocks in with, BV wise for gunnery and piloting upgrades. I mean,
they're all originally it wasn't that expensive. Like, BV originally it was like 1,700 for the first one, 2,000 for the second because it jumped. It had ECM, it had a little bit more, and then the B was the cheapest one because it's just Rack 2s and an ERPVC.
Yeah, I would not run that one.
But that's your cheap one. That's what I mean. Like, that's you just want to be sniping from long range and rolling cluster tables.
I mean, I'd probably run the first one, that Gauss large pulse. That seems a little bit more my speed. The SRM-6 feels a little, or I'm sorry, the Streak SRM-4, I'm sorry, feels a little weird, kind of stuck on there. But
that's definitely a committee, like, hey, we need something that locks on and fires. We can't be all energy and ballistic.
I mean, I guess, but
It'd be a lot more efficient if you did.
Right.
Yeah. The Gauss rifle is already a big failure point. We don't need another failure point.
Right. We've got one gun where the gun explodes. Now if we have a gun where the ammo explodes, we'll just stick them both in there. It's great.
I'll end on the fun in-universe part is because this was not done like through the normal Federated Suns channels and was bankrolled by Duke George Hayzik, like you don't see this roll out to other factions and sub-factions. Like this stays very hardcore loyalist Davion going into the Civil War. So like it's not a joint FedCom production, so only Federated Suns get it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like these mechs where they're kind of faction locked, right? There's a flavor to them, how they're designed, what they're used for, and they just stay in that faction. Because a lot of times I see mechs that are designed by one group, Falcons, and then they end up getting disseminated among everybody, and now everybody has Jade Phoenix A's, and I'm like, those are my mechs. Stop it. Stop using my mechs. Design your own mechs. But I like the Templars kind of a Davion thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, quote, only doled out to Victor loyalists during the Civil War because they have that tight of a hold on the production runs.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do you want to go to the Thanatos next?
Sure. Yeah, named after the god of death himself.
Whoa. Look at you coming with lore. Hot facts.
It's not lore. That's mythology. Totally different.
See, I see this and I instantly go to Thanos rather than Thanatos because my earliest memory of this mech is seeing a purple one painted with the Infinity Stones on it in metal.
Okay. You got to be careful because we're going to have to start paying Disney now.
Well, we're already a Disney podcast. If you didn't read the fine print hard enough.
Oh, great. Now we owe the mouse. No. Thanatos is actually a really neat mech. You talked about the Templar, how it wasn't really supposed to be an Omni. This one was intended to be an Omni, but had to not be based on production cost issues. I like the Thanatos. I've run the Thanatos before. One of the co-commanders of the Chaos Irregulars, actually, once his Grasshopper is shot out from underneath him, he ends up upgrading to a Thanatos. So I painted some Chaos Irregulars, so that's why I've got one. They're cool. I really like the loadouts. But what's bizarre about it is that all variants, there are only 3 variants, they have a C3 slave.
That was going to be my thought. And I feel like this is a holdover for its production because it was designed to be an Omni, but then in-universe economic problems. As we just explained, making an Omni is not as much hard and it is expensive because you have to pay for the R&D for each of the variants and how all of those are going to like fit together and like perfectly. It's not just build 5 mechs, it's design 5 mechs that work together. That's very hard. I'm using 5 as just random variant number. Thank you. But the Thanatos comes about because it is, imagine if you were just a subcontractor to Luthien Armor Works for a decade, watching them roll out Omni mechs that are just getting bought up by every mercenary company and house that has C-bills. So you're making these and you're just seeing the like production money and then like whatever you can get off the top, not the full like license holding money. Would that not make you immediately want to make an Omni mech? Like, yeah, I've been building these for 10 years. I would like money now, please.
Right. It's a FOMO, right?
No, it really is. Like, this is a fear of missing out on C-bills, especially like post Bulldog and all that faction fighting where every Omni mech is like immediately getting deployed. So
they're decent variants too. You know, when they make them like this, I'm surprised they're not more popular, right? I mean, the 4S has a regular an ER large laser, 2 regular ER medium lasers, a medium pulse, and an MRM-20, along with a Guardian ECM and a C3 slave, right? And it's 585, so it jumps. It's got a little bit of a jump jet, movement if you need it. which is, I mean, it's a decent loadout. You got a lot of tools at your disposal there.
And it's a 5.8, which is really key. Like the movement profile of 5.8 is not to be lost on an inner sphere heavy.
Yeah, no, it's great. And the 4T is similar. That's a 4.6.4, so it's not quite as fast, but it's kitted out with 4 medium pulse and an MRM 20 and an LBX 20. Same ECM, same slave, right? So it's like, you want more pulse, you can take the 4T as opposed to getting the regular, medium lasers. And then you've got this other one, the 6S, which is 4.6.6 with a heavy PPC, 3 LRM 5s, and a couple medium lasers and an ER medium or 2 ER medium lasers too. So that's more of like a, I don't know, kitchen sink kind of thing, right? You get like your big head popper and then kind of a smattering of other weapons. So
yeah, this was designed to be an Omni mech, and I can definitely see by that original, like the Omni loadout mix mash of weapons. Like none of these go together. It's definitely like bracket blah, not brawler, bracket blah.
Yeah, and it's like if you have an Omni mech, you got to think that you can like slot out torsos and things like that. So in theory, you would take like this arm off the 6S and slap it on the 4S, and it totally changes the loadout and everything else. So it kind of makes sense when you look at it from that lens.
Yeah, the kitchen sink variant that comes in the standard 4S, it's like, okay, this was definitely meant. They didn't want to commit all the money to making an Omni, so they're like, cool, we will make it easily slot into any other unit, especially as a support role. Like it definitely screams this is a support mech with a C3 slave and a Guardian ECM. It's not meant to be the backline. It's not meant to be the scout. It's meant to just support what's already there.
Yeah. I mean, and at 5.8, it could absolutely get there where it needs to go.
Yeah. So my thought for you is, they say that they tried to copy the physical features and performance capabilities of the Thor. Do you think it does that in this role?
That's a tough call.
I mean, so the Thor, at least the original one, is ERPBC, LR15, LBX 10. Like, same movement profile, yes. Armor, comparable. Weapons, no.
Yeah, this has more of them, but they're not as punchy, I feel.
Yeah.
Right? Like that PPC is going to slap, and then the LBX 10, I think it has more versatility than the MRMs.
Depending on which eye you look at it with, the MRMs are either the key piece or what's holding it back, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of a coin toss in efficacy, but I don't know. I think I prefer the Thor to this, but I'm also a Falcon player. I mean, I'm biased, right? I like the Thor as the poster child for Jade Falcons. So
they definitely got, from making all of the Omni mechs for Luthien Armor Works, like the DCMS, they probably had a leftover stockpile of MRMs and were just easily able to, hey, we tried making this an Omni. We're already in the hole. Let's just make it a standard battle mech and ship it out. Okay, what do we have that would have been used for DCMS? We have C3 units. We have MRMs. What do we have that's just cheap that everyone's using? We can get a couple medium pulse, medium regular, and an ER large laser. Like they've got that stock laying around no matter what.
It is pretty funny. There is a scene in one of the Chaos regular books where Jake Chawla is talking to his lead Aztec, right? About there's a C3 slave unit and this feels like it's out of place. Why is this here? And like, oh, well, they put it there for in case you need it or something. It's like, hey, can you take this out and can I like swap it with a laser? No. Well, what if we like put it over here? Yeah, you need a hip joint. You can't put the medium laser there. But I don't want the C3 slave. What can we do with it? No. Like there's this back and forth between him and his Aztec about, can we rip this thing out and what can we put in its place? And it came up with not much. So
no,
I don't know, I thought that was a fun scene in the book.
They started with the C3 slave and built the mech around it. It's load bearing C3 slave.
Yeah, it just sits in the center torso. I mean, I guess it's a crit sync, right?
Yeah. Like I said, it definitely feels like this mech was built to be slotted into an existing Omni-Mech, Intersphere Omni-Mechs C3 Lance. Like the Sunder is the Master, the Blackhawk KU, the Argus, all those guys already have the C3 because they're running with the DCMS down in Karinsky land. So, hey, this is easy sell if it's already set up to support what's already there. So, that's my thought. And if you are in the Federated Commonwealth at this time, here's a brand new non-Omni C3 if you want it.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're cool. I like them.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about your specialty here, the Falconer, a mech that was literally designed at the order of Hans Davion himself. Yeah, order of Hans Davion. The idea of this has been around since, Hans did know about the clans, so he wanted something that could fight clans. Mm-hmm. So he put down the need mech that can fight Jade Falcon clan.
And he came up with the Falconer.
It took, this one took a year, so he didn't get to witness its birth, but he definitely might have started approving some documents, some money going around to make this.
He'd be disappointed.
With the intention that it would fight Jade Falcons and kind of harry them into being not as evil. The question is, did he accomplish that? The Falconer is a 5.85 heavy with an ERPBC, 4 medium lasers, and a Gauss rifle.
I love the loadout. I love the movement profile. I love almost everything about this mech.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it beats my glorious and humble Falcons.
Does anything beat the glorious humble Falcons?
Not in my mind.
Yeah. I can see where this was designed. The big thing is we did not have a lot of clan mechs. We did not have a lot of Intersphere mechs that had Gauss rifles ready to go in 3053. So this is Clan Invasion is still going on. Tukey had just finished. So having a mech and not a tank, because we had some tanks and Comstar had some Gauss rifles, but this is a locally produced Gauss rifle. So we did not have a lot of those. So I can see where that was considered good. The medium lasers, you can
They're medium lasers.
Yeah, they're medium lasers. They're good everywhere.
And they have that ERPPC, right? So there's no minimum range on that, which is nice.
Yeah. But really it's meant to hit out at clan ranges.
Yeah.
So it can get where it needs to go. It can hit at clan range, quote unquote. It can't do the full clan damage, but at least it's doing 25 damage instead of less than.
And the thing is, even with, it's got 10 double heat sinks. So if it really wanted to jump and fire, you'd be in okay shape. You know what I mean? To kind of jump and harry with that. The Gauss rifle is going to sling it, 7, 15, 22, which is really nice. And the ERPPC has a touch less, or one less medium, one longer long, right?
Yeah.
And no minimum. So it's you can jump and shoot that all day, remain heat neutral. Then when things close, you can kind of cut loose with those medium lasers. So I like the mech. I like the loadout. I really do. This is very much my style of loadout.
Mm-hmm. It's if it's anti-clan, it has to be good at being clan in itself. If this was a clan, this wasn't the Falconer, this was the Falcony with the same exact stats, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is my favorite mech. Love this.
This is a glorious and humble mech that every Falcon should run. This is a pinnacle of,
clan engineering. Would Hans Davion himself be happy if this was it? I think so. I think he would just be happy to have something with the movement profile and the sniping profile.
Yeah, I like this quite a bit. And the nice thing is that a couple years later, they do come out with the 9R variant, right? Same movement, 5.85, but you swap the ERPPC for a heavy PPC, and you swap the Gauss rifle for an LBX-10.
Yeah, that's the logical improvement of this variant. 15 damage energy, cluster 10.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so I think Hans would have been fine with it. I don't think he would have loved it, but I think he would have been fine with it.
Yeah, they're good. They're good mechs. I think they're no. I know they're meant to hunt, my boys, but
that's the best you got, then you'll take it. That's looking at all the other options I have in 3053, that's a pretty good looking option.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the mech itself looks a little funny.
Hey man, that's the biggest glow up in the box set right there.
Yes. But still, those little arms.
All right, for the last one in the box, we got the Thunderbolt NAIS, the New Avalon Institute of Science Special.
You love this thing.
I do love this thing, but not as much as you think. Okay, why do you think I love this?
I don't know. You always talk about how much fun it is and how you run it all the time.
I don't run this all the time. I've never ran it on the table.
You were all excited to have this thing.
I was all excited to have it. Never ran it on the table. Rewind the tapes.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that. I'm not sure about this.
No. I mean, I can understand why you would think I would like it. 3 ER medium lasers, a Streak SRM6, a rotary autocannon 5, and of course, the quintessential targeting computer. 5.8 profile, no jump, good armor, normal other stuff. So
it's got a rack and a TC. You're all over this.
Yeah, I am all over it. Never ran it before.
You just talk about it a lot then.
I don't think so. I'm not even a big Thunderbolt fan. In fact, that's what lowers it down for me.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a big
against Thunderbolts.
I just don't love Thunderbolts. It's that weird. This is not the Thunderbolt did not come from BattleTech naturally, so I automatically have a little like it's not a homegrown BattleTech IP. Don't say that too loud, or the lawyers will come find us.
Who's at the door? Don't open it.
To get back to the Thunderbolt is what happens when the Blakist invade in 3067, and you've got a Thunderbolt laying around and a bunch of engineers that are like, holy crap, our fleet just got nuked. Most of the cadets on the ground got nuked. All the defenders got nuked. What are we going to do? It's like, well, we had all this stuff that we were experimenting with, and we've got some Thunderbolts, some Enforcers, and some Longbows. We're just going to throw all the experimental tech on them, just ship them out into the battlefield. That's why it is. It doesn't feel like a Thunderbolt, and it doesn't feel like it's fully optimized, but it definitely feels battlefield ready because it's built for the battlefield on the battlefield almost.
It's a lot of duct tape and hopes and prayers.
Yeah. The targeting computer, of course, helps. It's very optimized for the battlefield. I should say that, but it definitely. Could you put me in this? And I want to say the answer is no. And it's only for survivability reasons.
But it's got a rack and a TC.
It does. Like, it'd be fun. It'd be real fun.
Look, you're here for a fun time, not a long time, okay? Now get in the mech.
Like, it does have case for the rack. And the Streak 6 is also in that right torso. It's just an explosive right torso. There's a lot of... That's 4 things that explode and 3 things that don't. So it's not a lot of cushion.
The cockpit's not located in the right torso, so you're fine.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You'd have fun in it.
Yeah, you're right. I was wrong. This will be a fun ride. The problem is, this is Stalingrad style. Get in the mech and you walk out of the factory and you're already on the battlefield. And it's like, what does this button do? I don't know, man. Just keep walking. So okay, let me rephrase it then. Would this mech be good in 3062 in the Civil War? Yes, this would be a dominant mech on the battlefield. Would this mech in this configuration be good in 3067 against Blakist on New Avalon when you're already on the back foot?
Yeah.
Why do you say, eh? I know deep down it's like there's no ECM. There's no ability to, like, nothing special that will give you the edge against a Blakist C3I network or battle armor.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the gist of it. It's just, especially when you're going up against Blakist, they got so many weird, like, wonkety things. You need, like, a more high-tech counter to that. I mean, yeah. TCs are cool and racks do damage, but that's it. It's just a trooper mech.
It's just a trooper, but it's a more effective trooper. Like, it makes the average trooper a little bit more deadly. And it's definitely got the ability to spike damage. So,
yeah. But you're really dependent on where you hit those, right? I mean, I guess you always are, but
I think that's my thing. It's like, I would have loved this in 3062. I would be scared in 3067 being deployed on a battlefield in this, knowing I'm going up against Blakist. What I will say is this feels like they wanted to make this a production variant going out later. Any closing thoughts on the box, Steve?
I don't play Davion. I know a lot of people do. If I were to get this, the two that I'd be looking for is the Thanatos and the Falconer. The Templar is nice, but I'm not ready to commit to a new Inner Sphere faction just yet. So I'll probably get a box, but it's not burning a hole in my pocket to get right now. I mean, the mechs are good. The models are gorgeous. There's no doubt about that. But I can wait on some of these. I'll get one eventually, but I'm not running the store right now.
It'll be, and like I said, this one's already out on Catalyst, coming to Fortress soon, and then we'll get the other box of Davion, the light box. So
excited for that one too.
Yeah, they're all good mechs, Steve.
They are. They're all good mechs, and I'm gonna buy 2 of everything soon enough. Right? I mean, I found out that I have you make fun of me because I keep buying mechs, and what it is I will get these little side projects I want to do, and I need like a Nova, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have one because I painted one up for my Falcons, and I only had one. And I'm like, ugh, then I gotta go find one, and you can't find them online, and then I gotta talk to my local game group and see if they have a Nova. Someone does have a Nova, now I gotta trade for it. It's just easier if I just buy it and put it in the back storage bin. So the next time I get some bright idea for some side project, I can just go get the mech I need.
I understand that the side project, you will get more enjoyment from the planning stage of the side project than the actual completion of the side project. So I understand it's okay. It's a psychological thing, and you're just a prisoner of your own emotions and hormones.
I just want the mechs because I want to paint them. And I fundamentally, my free time is incredibly precious, and I don't want to wait. Right, like I mentioned earlier in this episode, right? USPS just threw me under the bus, and I'm waiting for some of these things to get delivered, right? And I can't proceed until I get those.
Oof.
So I hate being idle. It just bugs me.
Well, I think that's it for tonight.
Yes, if you are going to listen to the Brian Young spoiler section from when we talked about Voidbreaker, they're spoilers. We don't hold back. So if you have not read the book or are planning on reading that book, I would stop the podcast here and come back after you've read it or you've decided that you don't care. But we get into some pretty spoilery
stuff.
Spoilers. Yeah. It's like I straight up talk about who the
end of the book.
Yeah, it's just right there. So that had to get cut from the original interview. But if you want to hear it, here it is for you.
So we are going to break into a little bit of spoilers here because I just had to pick the person's brain. How giddy were you being able to put Terran Belters into a scene and like one of the most unwritten factions in Battletech?
That was really fun, especially since it was like a really tense scene. And getting to write just that no-nonsense pirate captain as a Belter, and they're so different than any... I mean, like, I think they're more alien than the clans, to be honest.
Yes.
And getting to just go a little sci-fi with them, a little cyberpunk, was so fun. And push it a little harder, actually. So, like, in some of the edits, they were like, you can push this a little further. And so I did, right? And it's nice having that encouragement to say, like, you can go further. You can take this a little further. You can push it harder. Yeah. My favorite one, though, was that I put some animal appendages on a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the fact checkers was like, I don't know, this doesn't pass the smell test in one comment. And then the next comment was like, I would like to formally apologize. I actually went through and found where you got the sourcing for this, and it was a paragraph I wrote. So you're good to keep. You're good to keep all this. My apologies.
That's hilarious. That's great.
Because I definitely like when I was like researching like Commissar and all that and what happened and like Word of Lake Takeover. Like I remember like distinct paragraphs of like, here's what they had to do with the belters in the Terran system, because the Sol system is not just Earth, it's Earth, Luna, Mars, the shipyard stations of Jupiter, the mining stations further out in the belt. It's like there are all these distinct like sub factions, and you can't just take over Terra and win the system, really.
Yeah. And between Ilkon's Eyes Only, Trial of Birthright, and Voidbreaker, I think people are really going to get a sense of how not under control the entire Sol system is under the thumb of the Il clan.
Yeah, Trial of Birthright just came out, I believe, and I've heard a lot of people say very positive things about that as well. So
yeah, it's a really good book.
I have not read it yet, but I will now.
Yeah.
Now, Brian, when you mentioned earlier that your favorite scene was the chess battle between the Ghost Bear and Kenja. Did you always intend it to be a chess match, and then did you intentionally insert the chess playing with Seth earlier, or I guess did you come up with it at the time and then have to go back and add I always played my mentor Seth, and you know what I mean? Did you add the foreshadowing after the fact, or did you always have it in mind and write it in one shot?
Chicken or egg?
A little bit of both. So I always had the intention to have the chess scene with the Ghost Bear, and then it came to that, and the first editor, she was like, this is good, but you need to have a reason that she does this. And then when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, that's when all of the stuff with Seth hit me. And I put that all in there on my second draft.
Okay.
Which is often how stuff like that works out best. Like you never hit everything 100, you never hit everything 100% on the first draft, although the first draft can hit some of that the first time. But yeah, that was very much a second draft sort of thing to make it right. But the chess match was definitely planned from the beginning. And it was, I mean, it got to the point where like I was going through old like records of like master chess matches, and actually I picked a chess match from an old championship and actually built that entire scene around an actual chess match between like masters.
Well, you get into it a little bit with the opening, right? The Sicilian opening and everything else. You get into some of the chess theory there, which was kind of fun to watch or read.
Yeah, no, it was. I really tried to make it as I tried to write it like I would a mech battle, with some of the same terminology as far as the attacking and the defending, and really lulling the Ghost Bear into a false sense of victory.
It was fun to read. I think it was great. I do have a follow-up question, not necessarily to the chess match, but when did you decide on the identity of the third son? Was it always going to be the whole time, or did that develop later?
From the beginning, and you'll notice the third son is also foreshadowing. It's a biblical reference. The third son of Adam and Eve is Seth.
I did not pick up on that. I picked, in some of the other novels that you've written, I've picked up on some other, of that type of iconography and imagery and stuff like that. But I missed that one. That's interesting.
You got me.
I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm kind of embarrassed that I missed that, truthfully. But no, I felt like, maybe he's just a really big fan of GoldenEye, and we have the like fake assassination or the not quite assassination of the beginning.
I mean, I am that too.
Okay.
So that was definitely part of it. Like the beginning is definitely this pastiche of GoldenEye and Goldfinger, right? Like at the beginning of Goldfinger where he shows up in the scuba suit, tears it off, and he's in a tuxedo.
Right.
And, the beginning of GoldenEye where they're taking it down, they have to shorten the explosions and still escape. She jumps into a helicopter, instead of motorcycling into a plane. You know, things like that. Like, it really was supposed to be that pre-credit sequence
It had
before
that feel.
they get the message.
It absolutely
Before they get the mission.
Yeah.
But knowing that it was going to be him, that was how I figured out he would have all the codes. He would have all of the stuff to intercept the messages. He would have all of the resources to hire the circuit breakers, and he would have all of the means to understand what was going on. And he would have, that's why there's that scene where she talks about having been trapped on the jump ship. Right. Because he knew that she wouldn't be able to resist saving those people because she'd been in a situation like that.
Yeah. He played off of her, empathy and fears.
Yeah. It couldn't have been anybody else.
Yeah.
Right. And the whole story was designed around that at literally every turn. And so there were some of those foreshadowing bits, like the third son, that if anybody would think about, like, well, what third son would there be? I think there are, for as many people who, I don't know, I think biblical references are hilarious to put into BattleTech.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, Seth is, after Cain and Abel, there was Seth. And I really thought having him with his ultimate motivation have the same name as the person that was supplanted in that former clan was a really nice flourish.
Yeah, I noticed that. I thought that was. I had the inkling, right? I couldn't confirm I had missed the third son reference, but I'm like, all right, everything has been kind of an homage to other spy, genres. And it wasn't like a direct rip or anything, but you saw similarities in certain tropes that you would expect to see in a spy thriller type, piece of fiction. And I'm like, maybe he'll be back. Maybe he didn't die, but Brian said he got shot in the face. I mean, it's kind of fun when you get shot in the face with a laser pistol. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm missing something. And then he's revealed. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. I totally missed the foreshadowing. That's
yeah. I think it's definitely one of those books that if you go through and read it a second time, you're going to see every moment where his shadow is on the page.
I'll have to sit down, and when we read it for book club next month, I'll do it again and look for all that stuff.
I would definitely say read the final published version. It's I think it's a little more streamlined and a lot more dense than the advanced review copy you guys got.
Yeah. It's always fun to read the earlier versions and then get the final draft and see what changed. But hopefully you didn't change that bizarre scene, because I thought that bizarre scene was bizarre meaning marketplace, not bizarre as in strange. Got to clarify. No, that was probably one of my favorite scenes when we get to see the Sea Foxes actually conduct business. They're trading. I thought it was great. You had like, oh yeah, they've got all these diamonds and they're going to trade them for fertilizer. And Kendra's like, why do they want fertilizer? It's like, oh, well, it's more valuable and they can trade for other goods on this planet. Duh. It's just, you're trading the currency for what you can. It's a currency exchange is all it is. I thought that was really neat to see. And then obviously the battle with the circuit breakers was, at the time I was like, oh no, obviously we knew Tucker was being hunted by other people, but how did they find him so quickly? How did they know he was here? Maybe someone made the same conclusions that Kenja did, but that seemed unlikely. And then we had the fight with the mechs in the marketplace was great. It was, waiting for the second Suckerfish, waiting for Suckerfish. I cannot pronounce her name to say
Petrichor.
Petrichor. Yeah. Thank you. She's Suckerfish in my brain because that's also, I wanted to say, I loved the code names. How they're all fish. I thought that was great. But no, having Sucker, like waiting, like, is she going to get there in time? Is she going to be able to, is the mech going to get destroyed? And then obviously the fight with Alexi Holt for Tucker, I thought was a great. It wasn't overdone, right? A lot of times mech battles can drag out a little bit, but I loved the kind of back and forth and how she ultimately shuts down and then face plants on the tarmac. Like, well, we'll find out if I won or not, because otherwise I'm toast. So that whole scene I absolutely loved.
Yeah, I was first off so angry because at the time of reading this, I was building my mercenary company to play in the hinterlands and do all that. And I saw the name, the Circuit Breakers Mercenary Company. And I was like, no, that one was supposed to be mine. That's too good.
It's too good.
You can't use that. You can't keep getting away with it. But
you can still use it.
I can still use it. But I was like, no, it's now associated with this. But I was like, that's such a good name.
It is.
Oh,
I want to see people paint up some mechs like that with the gold and the green, circuit look too.
Yeah.
Is it a dark green or like a coppery, like an oxidized copper green? What green did you have?
I was thinking like that oxidized copper, like a circuit board, right? I imagine maybe they run the gamut of whatever you could find circuit boards in, just sort of up to personal preference, as long as it's got like that copper undertone
Brian,
to it.
In Voidbreaker, in 3152, are circuit breakers still green? I mean, I guess green. Maybe they have, I don't know, ferro circuit boards that are like blue or something, right? No, still green.
Still green.
Still green. Okay, you heard it here first, folks. Circuit boards in 3152 are still green. It's official canon now.
It's been through all of the editors and fact checkers, and no one said anything about it. I mean, the thing is like if you look back at the future of BattleTech in the 80s, when most of the world was built, I think that's how circuits were like described and stuff. So I get to fall back on this is the future of the 80s thing.
No, it was great. That was the first thing that made me angry. The second thing that made me angry is when they are riding in the hovercraft and they're trying to escape. And you're like, I know why Josh is angry. And they're dodging and invading the locals. And it's like, it gets to that scene of the two stalking spiders, or the two Bishamon are there, and they're describing. And I was like, oh, that is not a fair fight against this little hovercraft. And of course they get away. And I'm like, but how, Brian? How do I get my hovercraft away from two Bishamon? I don't know.
Go fast.
Yeah.
Go fast, and the other person rolls poorly. Give them loaded dice and go fast.
But no,
I was excited to see a Bishamon.
Yeah,
right? I'm like, that's not a mech that you would expect to see normally. I think they're really cool mechs, and the fact that we got more quads in a book, I think, is great. Right? I love that
whole battle, because it wasn't just mech on mech or mech on vehicle or a little bit of that. It was artillery and air strikes and air support and all that. Like, it was like, this is a combined arms mercenary company in the field doing what they do best.
One of the things I was thinking about, honestly, was knowing that the Mercenaries box was coming out with combined arms, knowing that people were going to want to see tanks and hovercraft in action. And I was trying to think, with the Bishamon, what would look the most terrifying from the point of view of a hovercraft?
Definitely a low to the ground quad.
Yep, and that would be terrifying. They were just good pilots. They had really good piloting skills. No, I had so much fun with all the pilots, with the hovercrafts shenanigans in that book, like across the board. That was a lot of fun to me.
Like, you just abuse them. Even when they're winning, you abuse those poor hovercraft people.
I mean, doesn't everybody on the table?
No, I thought
you want us to do what to our engines? No. I want my complaint noted. We can do it, but I want it noted that I'm complained.
It felt so natural. I mean, that's exactly how that would go too, right? Like, I don't like this. We're doing it anyway. Fine, right? But we only got to see those pilots and mercenaries for a real short period of time. But you did such a great job of cramming so much personality into those 4 people, like that one crew that we see them ride with. I felt the connection between the gunner and the pilot, and they're talking to each other in quick, short bursts, and they just know exactly what the other one means. They're so in tune, and it was really fun to see a real tight team like that, just as an auxiliary set of characters, right? It's not like they're the main characters, and they're just well trained at what they do. And I thought that was a lot of fun. And I'm
yeah, no, I mean, you got to put them anywhere you can.
I think my last thing is, because we got an advanced copy, is there an airdrop Tiburon now? Or is the cover just seducing me with dreams
the cover lies, Josh.
The cover lies to me.
We never see an airdrop Tiburon in the book.
So I
read it and then the cover came out, so I never knew.
I wrote it and then the cover came out and I never knew either. It was a surprise to me when I saw the cover. I'm like, the cover's gorgeous. What mech is that? Where'd that come from? I think it was a marketing decision because they wanted a mech on the cover still. Somebody up there thinks that you can airdrop a Tiburon. So, it's probably got some temporary situation on there that allows it to happen. If you want a story reason for it to happen, I will talk to Catalyst into letting me write a short story to figure out why you'd be able to do that, and we'll figure it out. But it didn't happen in the book. I think it just looked cool on the cover the same way. Like,
it looks real cool. Like, it looks
great. Like you might have on like in one of those 80s Roger Moore like montage posters where it's just sort of like burned into the photo, on there. So maybe it's not even really there. It's just sort of photoshopped in afterwards to get the representation on there.
I think the real reason they did that is because they want to sell more Tiburons and they want to spread frustration as people try to put those feet and legs together. I think that's the real reason. It was all just a troll by Catalyst.
I'm pretty sure my Tiburon has been in that exact pose off the, 4-foot high table as it goes crashing on the ground, and I have to reassemble the legs again.
It's an exercise in futility, Josh.